and everyone should contribute, sending a clear signal to the markets, citizens, and those hoping for signs of EU disunity. The most crucial outcome is that we will start saving gas now, and that we have a blueprint to act together in a coordinated way if the situation worsens. Reducing gas demand proactively allows us to avoid rushed or unilateral decisions when it is too late. It will make it possible to plan the savings in the most efficient way, minimizing the impact on our people and businesses. The impact on the GDP will be significantly smaller if we start saving now and don't wait until Russia forces us to do so. The discussion today was serious but constructive. I would like to thank and congratulate Minister Sikala and the Presidency for their work. It is remarkable that the Presidency has achieved a political agreement on such a sensitive and important proposal in less than a week. I believe this has been possible also because the final outcome preserves the main building blocks of the Commission proposal, including the two-stage approach, pre-emptive action, and the EU alert. It is impossible to predict with full certainty how much gas we will need in the upcoming winter and beyond. This depends on the severity of the weather, especially in winter, volumes of alternative gas supplies reaching Europe, also on global gas demand and other factors. Our assessment shows that in case of a full disruption in July, we would face a cap of 30 BCM in an average winter and 45 BCM in a cold winter. We also must take into account the need to fill and refill storage. 45 BCM corresponds to a 15% cut in our usual gas consumption between the beginning of August and the end of March. That's why we have pointed to this percentage as the target all member states should strive forward. The Council endorsed this target level, but has introduced more flexibility to reflect the specific situations of the member states. The discussion showed that while solidarity is necessary, it works best when we recognise that the circumstances of the member states vary widely. Some are not integrated into the EU gas network or don't use gas at all. The outcome takes these differences into account. I was very frank with the ministers today on the need for the plan to remain credible, and we have succeeded in ensuring that. Our initial calculations indicate that even if all the exemptions were used in full, we would achieve a demand reduction that would help us safely through an average winter. But we know that countries like Ireland, Malta and the Baltic states have strongly underlined their intention to reduce demand. It is important to keep in mind that the EU's plan for this winter does not consist only of demand reduction. We have worked closely with the member states to improve the contingency plans. The new storage rules were proposed and adopted at record speed, leading to the current storage level of more than 66%. Based on the REPowerEU, renewable deployment has been accelerated, and we have seen records broken in green energy production this year. Energy efficiency has become an even more important part of member states' recovery plans. And we are working extremely hard to secure alternative gas supplies, which is bringing tangible results. In the first half of the year, non-Russian LNG supplies to the EU increased by 19 BCM and pipeline deliveries by 14 BCM. The President and I were in Azerbaijan just last week, where we agreed to more than double the gas volumes to EU by 2027, and we expect to see an increase of 4 BCM extra already this year. And we have also agreements in place with the United States, Canada, Norway, Egypt and Israel, a long-standing partnership with Qatar and deepening cooperation with Algeria. And in addition, we are exploring the options to increase LNG imports from Nigeria. The country is already the fourth biggest exporter to the EU, but has potential to contribute even more. And all the 5 regional groups within the EU energy platform have been launched and are looking into demand aggregation and coordinated use of infrastructure. And we are, of course, exploring the best legal and practical form for our joint purchase mechanism. So today, this was a test for the unity and resolve of the Union, and I want once again to thank the Presidency for their determination and leadership. And with this agreement, we have a plan that takes us safely through next winter towards true energy independence. Thank you.
Very much, Commissioner. Now I will give the opportunity to ask questions, and the first one on my list is Oliver Grimm, Die Presse. So please use the microphones and please present yourself.
Hello, over here, hey. Oliver Grimm with the Austrian newspaper Die Presse. A question to Commissioner Simpson and a question to the Minister. Commissioner Simpson, you just said, quote, even if all exemptions were used, we'd achieve a reduction to get us through an average winter. Which means you have to pray for an average winter. What happens if all the reductions are used and there's a very unaverage winter? And the question to the Minister, you presented 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 derogations. Who actually will have to cut gas consumption if there's basically a derogation for pretty much everyone? And specifically, there's one member state that was opposed to this, Hungary, as we all know in this room. What do you do if a member state, like Hungary specifically, decides not to cut gas consumption? Which kind of sanctions do you have? Thank you.
Thank you. Should I start? Yes, indeed. All the derogations, they are justified if certain circumstances are met. And what I was telling you that there are options that some member states do not need to use their derogation if for example, Baltic states will not face a situation where one-sidedly they will be cut out from synchronous electricity area that is right now keeps their electricity grid stable due to the fact that they are part of PREL synchronous area. And several island member states also informed us that they are doing their utmost to promote fuel switch where they can use, instead of gas, a clean electricity, they will do so. If there will be a long winter with extreme cold spells, then of course we have next steps already in our proposal, and first of those is alert level. But by introducing voluntary savings right now, we might end up in the situation that alert level is not needed, and we don't have to trigger that. Thank you.
Die Presse Österreich, haben Sie gesagt? Wollen Sie die Antwort auf Deutsch oder auf Englisch? Okay. The first thing is that the principle is that we will share the pain equally. So you asked, who will contribute. So in the case of the shortage, everybody who technically can and is not excluded by the derogation will be asked to contribute. This is the first thing. The second thing, I do not want to comment on the position of single states. We did not discuss today the sanctions. We basically aligned. We have a clear alignment of unity and solidarity, and we wanted to send a clear signal to the world and to Kremlin. And this is something we achieved.
Thank you. Next question, gentleman in the fourth row.
Nordin Fridi from Al Arabiya News Channel. I have a question on the figure, Madam Commissioner, maybe Mr. President also. You signed systematic agreement with United States, Algeria, Qatar, maybe soon Nigeria, Azerbaijan. You said that there will be, European Union import 19 BCM in the beginning of the year. Is it correct that you expect that this level will reach 40 BCM by the end of the year? Does that mean the whole agreements that you are concluding with the partners that it's almost 25% of what Russia was providing the European market? Thank you.
Well, you do remember that there have been previous communications from Commission side, and Repower EU was our plan how we will get rid of Russian gas by 2/3. And there we announced that we will be ready this year to attract, on top of the previous volumes we received from our trustworthy trading partners, to attract 60 BCM additional gas supplies, either via pipeline, we do have connections with Norway, Algeria and Azerbaijan, or via LNG terminals. And this is, well, this process is on track. As I was mentioning, the first half of the year has brought us 33 BCM of non-Russian supplies on top of what we received in previous years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. John Enger, Bloomberg. You have to go all the way.
Hi there, John Enger, Bloomberg. As we know, Gazprom are going to cut flows through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline from tomorrow to around 20%. Can you just explain what more than that it will take to trigger this emergency mechanism in the coming months? And secondly, can you just explain the rationale for having these rules only in place for 1 year when we know that next winter could be even tougher? It could be that gas storage is empty by April next year and very difficult to refill before the next year. Thank you.
This is linked to the previous questions. Yeah, the volume of the gas supplies from Russia amounts to 155 BCM, and we are able to replace them subsequently by increasing import from other territories. Of course, you know, the further step from Gazprom is just showing that they want to push up the price by limiting the volume. There is a clear correlation. Yeah, yesterday, prior to the announcement, the price was around, I think, 152 euro per megawatt hour, and as of now, it may be somewhere around 190. So this is basically their politics. They do not import anything export anything else as raw materials, gas and oil. So this is favorable for them. For the time being, taking into account the current consumption, we do not need to trigger the crisis mechanism now. And when it comes to the question why for 1 year and not for 2 years, this is an extraordinary measure, and therefore we have limited the time to 1 year. And after the upcoming, or even during the upcoming heating season, we will be able, together with the Commission, to assess, to evaluate the impact, and, if necessary, to propose the prolongation.
Well, indeed, when we prepared our proposal, we ran different simulations based on different variabilities. So how we will enter the winter, what will be the storage level, also what will be the global demand of LNG. And based on that, the storage filling plays a very important role. Right now, EU level storage is 66.7% filled. And, well, at this very situation where Europe is facing partial cut of Russian gas supplies, but still receives some via Turkish route, Ukrainian route, and Nord Stream 1, the filling operation is ongoing. So if 5 member states will face that they have a severe gas supply shortage, they can ask Commission to call alert level.
Thank you very much. We will go online. I see Le Monde.
Bonjour, Vous m'entendez? Vous m'entendez?
Yes.
Est-ce que vous m'entendez? Oui, vous m'entendez. Je voudrais revenir, si j'ai bien compris, donc le mécanisme en place avec toutes les dérogations possibles permet d'assurer l'économie de 30 milliards de mètres cubes de gaz. Les pays qui finalement ne vont pas bénéficier de dérogation, est-ce que vous pourriez nous dire lesquels ils sont? J'imagine qu'il y a l'Allemagne, les Pays-Bas, le Danemark. Enfin bon, en fait, si vous pouviez nous donner les pays qui, dans cette histoire, n'ont pas de dérogation. Et du coup, question liée à ça, ça veut quand même dire que, comme ce sont aussi des pays, en tout cas l'Allemagne, qui sont les plus gros consommateurs de gaz, ça veut dire que c'est quand même sur eux que va reposer la plus grosse part de l'effort. Voilà. Je voudrais aussi savoir, aujourd'hui, enfin demain, quand Gazprom va couper à 20% de ses capacités, ses livraisons de gaz, aujourd'hui, on en était à combien? On en était à 40 ou à 30%? Je n'ai pas les idées claires là-dessus. Voilà.
Sorry, I didn't understood the second question, the cuts.
La deuxième question, je recommence. Je voudrais juste savoir, à partir de demain, les livraisons par Nord Stream 1 ne vont représenter que 20% des capacités du pipeline. Je voulais savoir aujourd'hui à combien on en était. Est-ce que c'est 30 ou 40%?
Okay, 40. Sorry. So after the maintenance, so I'm starting with the second question. After the maintenance, they're turned back to supply 40% of the capacity. So it was basically the same reduced volume before the maintenance started. Then they announced they will further decrease the capacity, so they will halve the capacity down to 20%. And coming to the first question, of course, there are the derogations which basically reflect only some of the countries, like a derogation for Baltics, derogation for island states, and all the others, they will not be able to use these derogations. And of course, there are also derogations which are general, like the protection of some of the industries, like the feedstock. Maybe you want to.
Well, on the supplies, gas supplies that European member states still receive from Russia, we compare July this year with July last year, 2021, and that means that that Nord Stream 1 and well, those created excuses over technical maintenance are not well representative, because last year we had also pipeline connection via Belarus and Poland, Yamal, which is not delivering gas since last December, and the flows via Ukraine are also significantly lower than they were last year. So in June, before the maintenance started, we received 1/3, and after the maintenance was annual maintenance of Nord Stream 1 was completed, it was back to the same volume. On those derogations that member states can claim if these are justified, I think that it is important that to keep in mind that this is only at the stage when this is an obligation, and right now we ask all the member states to introduce measures so that they can prioritize fuel switch, they can prioritize savings where it is possible, and there are 3 full exemptions. First, our island member states, Ireland, Malta and Cyprus, do not have the mandatory reduction, but both Ireland and Malta have already confirmed that they will play their role. And Cyprus does not use gas for power generation, so a target for them is different. The second exemption, as I mentioned already in my introductory remarks, could cover Baltic states in case Russia desynchronizes their electricity system before the foreseen 2026 deadline. And these countries then need to use gas to guarantee their stability, grid stability. And well, these countries very much hope that this exemption is not needed right now. They have cut their demand already more than obligation demands. But well, if circumstances are different, they are granted a derogation. And third, and related to the previous one, we do not, of course, want to replace the gas crisis with electricity crisis. So member states who are struggling with electricity production due to different reasons may temporarily limit the mandatory gas demand reduction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Online, I also see Tobias Kaiser, Die Welt.
Yes, and thank you very much for taking my question for the briefing. This is a follow-up question to the previous question. The derogation for countries that increasingly use gas for their electricity supply. This obviously applies to France, but does it also apply to any other member countries right now? And the other question is, when member states activate the derogation, can they simply say we have industries that that rely on gas as a feedstock, so we don't have to comply with the savings target, or would just the industries be exempt? Thank you very much.
Do you want to?
When it will be triggered?
So
Derogation for the stage when this is obligation.
yeah, this is obligation. Yeah. So the first question was the first question: if basically this like electricity production from gas is valid only for France. That was the question.
How can they ask for derogation? Is it automatic, or they have to well apply for derogation?
That they have to apply.
No, the question was indeed whether it's only for France with electricity.
No, this is not only for France.
But is there currently a country that would qualify for that derogation apart from France?
The derogation is basically like an exceptional risk which might lead to electricity crisis. This is like a crisis situation. This is not for I would say like a normal day-to-day electricity production. So if there will be a threat of the electricity shortage, like an electricity crisis, then basically there can be a call for the derogation.
So thank you very much. We still have a lunch to attend, so I have to close for the time being. I'm sure there will be plenty of questions, and I'm sure they will be also much clearer to you once the text is published, which will be pretty soon. So thank you very much for joining today's press conference, and see you after lunch. Thank you.
I left my bag.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think that I understood the question, the last question in a way, but